Shvadron, he was a genius. He says every night after his mom worked all the different jobs, fed them, she was a widow, his father died, took care of the kids, took care of the poverty, took care of the problems, took care of everything, put everybody to sleep. Anytime he would wake up to go get a drink or something, or go to the bathroom, he would always see his mom, after everybody's sleeping, learning the Midrash. Learning the Midrash. She became an expert in Midrash. Anytime he says, I grew up already, anytime I had question Midrash, that's my mom. Expert. When did she do it? After she took care of her responsibility. What do people do? Take the responsibility, throw it in the garbage. This is my new responsibility. I'm going to be a rabbanit. Yeah, but your husband is a construction worker. Where's the rabbanit come from? Now I'm going to be a rabbanit. So that's the mistake of people that don't know their role. It's important for a person to be knowledgeable, both men and women, but never ever forget their role. And that's in essence what leads a lot of people to this horrible place we've been talking about for the last hour, where a woman could easily do the biggest mitzvah in the world, have a child, raise this child to learn some Torah, and then say, if I didn't have kids, I probably know a lot more. That simple sentence, she's going to Kaf HaKela for it. That's the thing. That's what people don't understand. It's stupid things like that that land a person into such a horrible place that you would think, oh, why is Hashem so vicious? No, He's not vicious. You're vicious on yourself. Because you didn't say it passingly. You thought about it. It cultivated in your head. You've discussed it with yourself and with others. It's not something that just comes out. And that's the thing. People spend a lot of time regretting because they don't understand the significance of their actions, and they always want to be somewhere else, someone else. And that's one of the big mistakes that Chachamim kept repeating over here, is that a person that regrets their mitzvot, that's one of the sentences. It's Kaf HaKela. And so far, I haven't found a pleasant area in Kaf HaKela. Any other follow-up? So, next. Sefer HaSamak. Same one that says that the punishment is incomprehensible. Brings an extraordinary chidush. Same one that says that the Rasha is taken from this world by 3 different angels. They punish him, nightmare. Baruch Hashem, he brings light to the issue. What's the light? Praiseworthy is the one who does tshuva. Because not only is he forgiven for his sins, but also his sins get counted as merits, as he gets rewarded as if he lived for eternity just doing mitzvot. A person now hears a shiur, got scared to death, okay, I'm doing tshuva. Sefer HaSamak says, not only do your past sins can turn into mitzvot, but you'll be judged as if you've never made a sin in your life. And you live the eternity of mitzvot, meaning there's literally no end to the reward. That's why he's praiseworthy, the Baal Tshuva. But if he doesn't do tshuva, says the Samak, he's punished as if he did sins for eternity. Hashem Yilachem. You heard the truth and still did not do tshuva, the person is judged as if the only thing he ever did in his life is sins. That's what I was referring to today. There's some chachamim that say there is no merit for, there is no reward for mitzvot for a person that's considered a rasha. Like a person is a Mechalel Shabbat, he's I don't know, whatever, he does all these different things that he's Isur Karet, he dies, he doesn't get any reward for anything. He gets punished for it. And this is one of the opinions. He says, Mamash, a person dies, he's a rasha, there is no reward. So it's these are not storytellers. And it's one of the things that I think is one of the most scary is that you see that the greater the chachamim, the greater the fear. What time is it? 4? Oh, it's still early. The Ramban, 800 years ago, one of the Rishonim, in Shara Gmul, chapter 7. There's an English version of it by a publisher called Shiloh. In there it's page 540. The souls of the wicked roll in descent to Gehinnom. This soul tries to return to the element of spiritual fire. It was created in order to rise higher, but the klipa from sins separate and restrain it, and instead it's pulled into the fire of Gehinnom. And this is the essence of karet. Like a branch is cut off from a tree that gave it life. So the Ramban, in essence, is repeating one of the types of Kaf HaKela that we were talking about before, that the soul of the sinner does not have any of its own strength to keep itself elevated, so it has to continuously go down to the sins are causing it to have no power and therefore crash. And one of the things that causes it to complete crash is any sin of karet. Because once a person has a karet sin that he does not do tshuva for, it's the equivalent of a branch that is cut off from the tree. What's the analogy? A branch could be the most beautiful branch in the world, but as soon, thank you, but as soon, thank you very much. As soon as the branch is cut off from the tree, no matter how beautiful the branch is, it dies. It can have all the most beautiful flowers in the world. Once you cut it from the tree, it has no more life source. That's it. Finished. No more branch. Branch is going to die. The flowers are going to die. Everything's going to die. Unless you replant it and it catches root again. But you just leave it out there. Everything's going to die. The neshama, once it violates Shabbat on purpose, or Nida, or Yom Kippur, or someone, and there's an Isur Karet, that's it. The life source that connects the neshama to the life source, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's cut. So that means that neshama no longer has power to float in the upper worlds on its own. So where does it go? It just continues to crash non-stop. To never land. There's no end. That's another form of Kaf HaKela that the Ramban is mentioning over here. Now,
what is meant by it constantly crashes and it's just continuing?
It's dropping. Okay, so let's say I don't know, you have this, I don't have much. Okay, this, you see the card? Cool card, can get somebody to do tshuva. But now, imagine, okay, it goes, it crashes, right? Now, obviously, if this was something a little heavier or something bigger, the crash would be more significant. It would be a bounce. If it was, let's say, Play-Doh, you'd see it crash and it would change its shape, right? So in essence, the neshama is dropping and endlessly, but somehow it's also getting crushed at the same time, as if it's hitting something and dropping at the same time. So it's a constant destruction of the same thing over and over and over and over again with no end. So it's Shem Yerachem, what can I tell you? We're almost done in this section, that's it. So Sefer Torah Chaim by Rabbi Avraham Chaim ben Rabbi Naftali Tzvi Hirsch, about 400 years ago. Commentary on Masechet Bava Batra, page 79. This Sefer Torah Chaim is regarding each Masechet, regarding and this particular section is regarding Gehinnom. And he says, until a certain fire arrives that doesn't need self-sustaining fire that's inflating, that will consume his soul. What is this fire? From this fire is created the world. So, in essence, the Chacham is trying to explain what is this thing that's keeping it up. It's a certain type of fire. What is this certain type of fire? It's a fire that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with. As the Ravad wrote in the intro of Sefer HaYetzirah, that the souls of the wicked after death, they cleave to the foundational element of fire. And this is why it's written in the book of Samuel that the soul of your enemy, because the foundational fire is always turning with the soul and tumbles like in Kaf HaKela. And there's a place in Gehinnom that is similar to Kaf HaKela. So that's one of the things that actually I noted this here, is that the reason why I mentioned this here is that even though he's not necessarily talking about Kaf HaKela, he's talking about two things. One is a certain type of fire that the soul is made from. But the other thing that was really interesting is the fact that he said that there's a place inside Gehinnom that's like Kaf HaKela. But it's not Kaf HaKela. May we never see. David HaMelech in Psalm 11 chapter 11 verse 1 says, for the conducted by David in Hashem I've been taking refuge. How dare you say to me, flee from your mountain like a bird? Now the Radak, who lived about 800 years ago, comments on this verse that the wicked enemies of David HaMelech would tell him he'll fly like a bird. What does it mean he'll fly like a bird? The enemies of David HaMelech would say you're going to go to Kaf HaKela for being with Bathsheba. And then Avigail would come to David HaMelech and reverse it by saying the verse in the book of Samuel. That's why she said what she said. While all your enemies are saying that you're going to fly like a bird and go to Kaf HaKela, in reality all your enemies will go to Kaf HaKela, not you. And the Al-Shich HaKadosh in commentary on Psalm chapter 1 verse 4 on the words Lo chen hareshaim says the success of the wicked isn't like the success of the tzaddikim, because the wicked are like the chaff that the wind drives away. And the soul of the tzaddik wants to cleave to Hashem, but the rasha can't do it because is tum'ah, and the chitzonim take control of him, And ultimately, he gets slingshot in Kaf HaKela. So Al Shich on Kohelet and Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 14-15, where it says the fools don't know till they go to Kaf HaKela. It says the fool, the fool prattles on and on, but man doesn't know what will be, and who can tell what will happen after him? The toil of fool exhausts him, as one who doesn't know the way to town. So the Al Sheikh says, why doesn't he know the way of town? Why does the fool not know until he ends up going to Kaf HaKela? It says because the powers of Tumah, the destructive powers of Tumah that the person created through his sins, are all called Ksilim. Like he is called a Ksil, he's called a fool. The powers of Tumah is also called a Ksil. And they're going to be slinging him from one end of the world to the other, because his foolishness led to their creation, and they don't know the way to town. Means that they don't know the way to the Shekhinah.